Robert Mueller's Russia investigation has found very little evidence of the Russian collusion that supposedly justified it. It has, though, accidentally exposed a lot of political bias in the federal government. Now some of Donald Trump's campaign team say they're considering a lawsuit. Michael Caputo advised Trump's presidential campaign, and he joins us tonight. Michael, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tucker. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Let me do diligence and ask you the obvious question. During your time serving the Trump campaign, did you see any behavior that suggested collusion or inappropriate contact with the Russian government?
No, I did not. In fact, I'll tell you exactly what I told the House Intelligence Committee in July. I saw no Russian collusion. I heard no talk of Russia. No one ever asked me about the years that I lived in Russia, the whole time I was in Trump Tower, and we didn't use Russian dressing. This whole thing is a bogus investigation ginned up because Hillary Clinton needs an excuse for forgetting to go to Michigan and Wisconsin, and my family gets to pay for it, all the legal fees, to testify before Congress probably 4 times, saying the same thing 4 times over to 3 different bodies because Congress can't talk to each other.
How much have you had to pay personally to respond to this?
Well, right now I've only got 1 hearing under my belt. I've got Senate Intelligence wants me for 2 hearings, and now we hear from Dianne Feinstein that she wants me at the Senate Judiciary. Each one of those hearings can be $30,000, so I'm $30,000 down now, and in the end I'll end up paying legal fees that equal more than I make in a year.
That's horrifying. What do you make?
It's horrifying, and you know what? I've got kids to raise. Yeah. You know, I live in flyover country, Tucker. I live in Buffalo. We don't make Washington money or New York money. And all, you know, this smear first, ask questions later mentality of Washington is destroying not just my family, but a lot of families.
On totally ridiculous grounds, Russian agents. It's absurd. What do you make of apparently what the memo says, that the Obama administration used allegations of collusion with Russia in order to justify surveillance of the Trump campaign?
You know, I listened to what you said as we led up to this segment, and I'm just disgusted by it. But I got to tell you, I completely expected it. I've been looking forward to this memo coming out ever since I heard of it. Thank God for Chairman Nunes. Thank God for him. I mean, he's endured so much, you know, vitriol and insults from the left trying to stop him in this effort. I'll tell you, here's the bottom line, Tucker. I mean, Barack Obama weaponized the Department of Justice. Barack Obama politicized the FBI. The FBI, it's our nation's premier criminal investigation organization. I know a lot of rank and file FBI members, and they're all embarrassed about this. The DOJ completely weaponized. We saw it go down with the IRS as well. We saw how the weaponized Department of Justice went after people like Congressman Michael Grimm and Dinesh D'Souza and many others. This has really been on its way to happening for quite some time, and we're at the most politicized level of our DOJ and FBI that in my lifetime it's got to be.
It sure seems that way. So I don't know if you can respond to this final question because you're the subject of a lot of attention. But Carter Page, he was the pretext for apparently a lot of this spying on the Trump campaign. I've just only seen him during his MSNBC interviews. He doesn't look to me like a very credible Russian agent. Did you ever see any indication that he was speaking to the Russians, that he was speaking in Russian, had a shortwave radio in his attic? I mean, was there anything about Carter Page that made you think he was a mole?
No, in fact, we never saw Carter Page in Trump Tower. He was like George Papadopoulos, a member of a rarely meeting policy committee, volunteers who would come in for 1 meeting a month. I mean, Carter Page, I mean, he's legit. You know, knows about Russia. People in Russia know him. He was in business there. And I see him on television. I see him walking away from these inquiries on the Hill. I got to tell you, at first I was kind of, you know, palms up about the guy, but now I feel really bad for him. And now that I'm hearing about this memo, I feel really angry for him.
Well, he said today to one of our producers here at Fox News that he welcomes the release of the memo. I bet he does. But thanks,
I bet he does. And I'll tell you what, if anybody needs to get some justice out of this, it's guys like Carter Page.
I agree. I think he's been shafted. Great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.